children, welcome to this online class. Today I will do transformation of sentences in English language. Transformation of sentences means changing the form of a sentence and rewriting it in such a way that the meaning does not change. There is an exercise in your question paper related to transformation of sentences, and the instruction clearly states that you have to rewrite the sentences according to the instructions given and make necessary changes without changing the meaning of the sentence. So you have to keep in mind while changing the sentence in another way that you do not change the meaning of the sentence. While transforming sentences, we have to strictly follow certain grammatical rules. If we are thorough with the rules, then we can write correct and good English and make fewer mistakes in our essays and letters. Transformation of sentences also help us to express our thoughts in different ways. There are many topics that are covered in transformation of sentences. Today I will do active and passive voice with you. First I will define what active and passive voice is. Active voice is that when the verb of the sentence tells us that the subject is doing something. That is, the subject is the doer of the action. And passive voice is the sentence in which the verb tells us that something is being done to the subject. That is, the subject is the receiver of the action. Now here I have given an example, and we get to learn three main rules from this example. Now the active voice, in the active voice, the sentence is, the girl is singing songs. Now here the girl is the subject, is singing is the verb, and songs is the object. So subject, then comes the verb, and immediately after the verb comes the object. So the first rule according to this is that when you change from active voice to passive voice, the subject is taken to the object's place and the object comes to the subject's place. So here you can see the girl is singing songs. So here the girl is the subject and she is doing something. That is, the subject is doing something. And what is she doing? She is singing songs. And when you change it into passive voice, you can see that the subject, the girl, has gone to the object's place and the object songs has come to the subject's place. So the first rule is that when you change from active to passive voice, the object is brought to the subject's place and the subject is taken to the object's place. And when we are writing the subject in the object's place, we use by before it. And in some cases, we also use with or to before the object in the passive voice. Then the second rule related to this is that in the passive voice, we always use the third form, that is the past participle of the verb. There are three forms of verb: present tense, past tense and past participle. So in passive voice, we always use the past participle form of the verb, that is sung. And words like written, eaten, given, played, all these are past participle and used in the passive voice. Then the third main rule is that the number of the verb changes according to the number of the subject. Number of the verb means that whether singular verb is to be used or plural verb is to be used, that depends upon the number of the subject. That is, whether the subject is singular or plural. So here in the active voice you can see the girl is singing. So here the girl is singular subject, singular. So we have used is, that is a singular verb. But when we change it into the passive voice, songs now comes to the active, to the subject's place. So songs is a plural word and the verb changes and it becomes a plural verb. So the third rule is that the number of the verb depends upon the number of the subject. So in this here we come to learn about three main rules. The first is that the subject is taken to the object's place and the object is brought to the subject's place when we are changing it from active to passive voice. The second rule is that we always use the past participle form of the verb in the passive voice. And then the third rule is that the number of the verb depends upon the number of the subject. Then there is another rule here related to the use of the preposition after the verb. Now here the sentence is, he laughed at the beggar. So here there is a preposition used after laughed. So when you are writing it in the passive voice, you have to see that you don't remove the preposition, that is at. So you will write the sentence as, the beggar was laughed at by him. Next children, I will tell you about the sentence which has two objects in it. Like for example, here I have written, my friend gave me a book. Now here, my friend is the subject, gave is the verb, and here you can see there are two objects, me and a book. So me here is indirect object and a book is direct object. Now indirect object refers to the person for whom something is being done, and direct object mainly refers to a thing. So here indirect object is me, the person for whom something is being done, and direct object is a book, that is the thing here. So you should know how to change the active voice into passive voice using both the indirect object and also the direct object. So here in the passive voice, when you are starting with the indirect object, me, it changes into I. And you will start, I was given a book by my friend. So here you will see that I, the indirect object, we have started the sentence with the indirect object, was given a book, the direct object is used, and then the subject comes, by my friend. Now the next form is by using the direct object. So here the direct object is a book. A book was given to me by my friend. So here you see that when you are starting the passive voice with the direct object, that is a book, then before the indirect object, that is me, you have to use to here. So a book was given to me by my friend. The subject comes in the end. Now there is another rule also, that if the active voice is in the present perfect continuous, whether it is past perfect continuous, whether it is present perfect continuous or future perfect continuous, then the passive voice cannot be formed. So here in this sentence you can see, had been reading is the past perfect continuous tense. So this sentence cannot be changed into passive voice. So remember that if the active voice is in the perfect continuous, whether past, present or future, it cannot be changed into passive voice. Then another rule is, here you can see, she will be bringing a book. Here will be bringing is the continuous form of the future tense. So if your active voice is in the continuous form of the future tense, then in this case also the passive voice cannot be formed. If the sentence is in if the active voice is in the present continuous or past continuous, it can be changed. But if it is in the future continuous, then it cannot be changed into passive voice. Now I will tell you the rules related to imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are those sentences which express command, order or request. An imperative sentence can be changed in the following form. Here I have written let plus object plus be plus the past participle of the verb. So you can learn this formation, how the imperative sentence can be changed from active to passive. Like for example, open the door. Now here open is the verb, you have to write the past participle of open and the door is the object here. So when you change it into passive, you will use this formation only. Let plus object is the door, be, and the past participle of open is be opened. So let the door be opened. Now if supposing your active voice is in the negative, like for example, do not open the door, then you can use the same formation, and not can be used either after the object, before the object or after be. So if your negative sentence is to be written, it can be written like let not the door be opened, let the door not be opened, or let the door be not opened. So not can be used in either of these places according to the sentence. Then imperative sentence can also be written by beginning with you. Like for example, here I have written help me. So this sentence can be written by starting with you, and an alternative form of passive voice can be used. Like for example, we have used requested here, and you start the sentence with you. You are requested to help me. Then here you can see there is no object. Here help me, the object was me. Now here there is no object, work hard. So this sentence also can be written by starting with you, and the alternative form of the passive voice is used here, advised. So you are advised to work hard. Now next is rules related to interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences means questions, rules related to questions. Now here the changes are, there are some changes, like when we are using the words do, did or does, then these words, these auxiliary or helping verbs, they change and is, was, are or were are used. So we remove the word do and use the other helping verb is here. So here the example is, do you like cricket? So your answer is, passive voice is cricket liked by you? So do has been removed and is has been used in its place. In the same way, does is removed and did is also removed, and we use other helping verbs like are, were, and for past tense did we use was or were. Then now supposing if your sentence here did is used as a helping verb, and do here is used as a main verb. Why did you do the work? So did here is used as a helping verb, whereas do is used as a main verb. So in this case, you will remove the helping verb did, but you will not remove the main verb do. So you will write the sentence in this way. Why was, so did has changed into was, the work done by you. So do has now been written as done. It has not been changed into is, was, are or were. So it is used as a main verb. So the passive voice of this main verb will be used here. So your sentence is, why was the work done by you? Then there are other changes also, like who changes into by whom. Who changes into by whom. Who teaches you English? By whom are you taught English? In the same way, whom is also there. Whom changes into who. So here we see that we change only the auxiliary or helping verbs like do, did or does. other helping verbs like can, will, shall, all these remain the same. And other words also with which we start the question like where, when, why, how, so they also remain the same. The change occurs only in do, did or does, and in who and whom. Here I have written down the changes in the verb that takes place when you are changing from active voice to passive voice. You can, children, you can take a screenshot of this and learn it up properly and use it when you are changing from active voice to passive voice or vice versa. These are the changes related to changes in the pronoun when you are changing from active voice to passive voice. Children, you can take a screenshot of this also and use the changes when you are writing from active voice to passive voice or from passive to active voice.